Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Monday to you. What's left of it, right? There's a pretty red market here today. Only one coin is shining, and we'll talk about that later, of course. Now, at this point, Solana is not one of those, but the key takeaway here is that Asian markets opened at about 5 p.m. yesterday, and everything's been pretty much nonsense ever since. So it's unfortunate, but that is par for the course. It's half the reason why trading weekends can be very tumultuous. Generally, best to wait till Mondays to trade. I'm not one to talk though. We had some trades open this weekend. As a matter of fact, we take a quick look here. We actually had some nice profit from an XRP short, 50% roughly in 3 days. Then of course the Solana short too. We did short at about 260, and that was roughly 7 days ago. Now, when you take a look though, you got to keep in mind we had to close out a Litecoin long, an Aave long, and we offset that with an AVAX long. So again, good news is we secured some profits, but yeah, it was a battle this weekend. Easy to say. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there so you understand that while trading is never perfect, there are different ways to navigate this market, and a lot of times closing out a trade before it gets too bad is a good call. That's half the reason why I wanted to kind of highlight that. Again, we took some losses on those, but we offset that with some short hedged trades, and of course, here we are. So again, awesome stuff for the most part. While it's not fantastic, it is the market that we're in, and that's just kind of how it goes. I'm going to extend out these trend lines here, just kind of pay a little bit more attention. Actually, here we go. We're going to move that with the SMAs. I'll update a playout chart, and I'll post that on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord here soon, just so you can have access to that. It's available here. It looks a little something like this. And just to give you a quick heads up on Bitcoin, the Bitcoin sell-off we're seeing here, it's not looking fantastic. We got a pretty significant resistance range here between 100 to 102,000. Again, we haven't closed below that officially, but it seems fairly likely. Furthermore, too, we got a lot of liquidation down below, just as we do above 110K, but this is more immediate. It's closer and it's more concerning. So 94 to 97K is that rough estimate of heavy liquidation. You can see that reflected here. So just know that that's there. And the reason why that's relevant is because Bitcoin is calling the shots right now, and Solana is just here for the ride. Good news is Solana is doing a little bit better than most altcoins. I'm not going to say this is fantastic, but there's a strong chance we swept some lower liquidation levels, and we'll take a look at that here soon. So if you're new to the channel, thanks again for watching. You've been watching for a while. Even more thank you to just being an amazing part of my life. We got some awesome comments. More importantly, just in general, a lot of folks are liking these videos more. We're seeing a little bit more views, so I do really appreciate that. But if you could, just do me a favor, every time you watch a video, hit the like button. Just keep on keeping on. It really helps a lot. Okay, so we're gonna look at liquidation, of course. Bitcoin liquidation is still ominous, right? We still got a big chunk below. For Solana, the only chunk that we have is roughly the 210 to 220 mark, right? Obviously, there's still some sporadically through this area here, but the heavier concentrations are between 210 to 220. Now the local range here, the last 7 days liquidation completely swept. That 240 to 250 range, that was supposed to work as a support, but again, when Bitcoin dumps on a weekend, not much else is really going to happen except for Solana to dump too, right? Pretty much every single altcoin did that. So it's nothing outrageous about Solana or the market. Well, the market is outrageous, but Solana is just kind of performing as per usual. Good news is the 200 to 220 range is a pretty solid support range. Even though we have liquidation there, and we could very well see 200 again, that area is a strong support level, and I'll explain why here soon. Okay, again, based on the technical charts, that's what we're looking at. But from a back end here, we got our liquidation deltas pretty high. We can see more people are shorting than they are taking longs, and it's just par for the course. Every single coin looks the same. Having said that, though, 260 is that resistance range. We saw that pretty much reaffirmed as the price action broke down here, and then of course we coming down. We can recognize there are some previous late longs at about 240. They're underwater as well. But good news is we're not seeing a tremendous amount of positions being opened here locally, which is good. Essentially, the less positions being opened, the better, because you can't sell if nobody's buying, right? So if nobody's buying here, then obviously the selling pressure is going to dissipate, and that's what we want. So for the most part, we got some resistance at 240. I think that's a good takeaway here. If the price were to come back up and to recover, we can presume 240 to the 260 range. This guy right here is that new resistance range for us, okay? And again, I'll post that playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, just so you can kind of see that, and we'll make sure we go ahead and update the charts for you. But for right now, for the sake of the conversation, we're going to jump into the front end here, kind of see where the daily time frame is telling us. And overall sentiment here is still bearish. Sorry, correction. I meant to say bullish. By no means is this like something you just buy, take a long to the moon with, a super high leverage trade. Not even close. But from a spot back perspective, the 200 to 220 range is a good little support. And because again, if you zoom out here and you kind of recognize this range that we've been in, ever since we've been in 200 plus, the most amount of volume we're seeing is at 237, and secondary to that is 220. So we're right in the middle of this support range. So again, that's awesome stuff in a way. Disadvantageous in another, because you don't want to actually be in that range half the time. You want to be above it, but the truth is we are in that range. That's good. We're also remaining above 50 in the RSI while we're likely testing that here today. If we get a bounce from here, solid support in the current range. Okay, so it just kind of reaffirms it. But keep in mind here, Bitcoin is showing stochastic divergence, MACD divergence. There's a lot of things here kind of telling us that further downside is probable based on the simple fact that Bitcoin seems like it's likely to continue lower. So again, do I feel like we're going to see the sub 200 mark? Probably not. We want to presume, or well, sorry, you don't want to assume, you want to presume. Just kidding, that's pretty much the same thing. But again, we want to assume, no matter how you look at it here, that the price is going to continue lower until it doesn't, right? But the key takeaway here is that we're still technically, minus the momentous indicators, above all support levels for us. The 20, 50, 200-day SMAs, those are all below us. We're above 50 on the RSI. A lot of reasons why we're getting close to the tentative bottom, okay? I want to emphasize the word tentative because Bitcoin doesn't maintain this 100K range or higher. There's a solid chance that Solana could continue lower. And to give you, complete transparency there, we are in a short now at this point, at close to about 100K, 99.7 for Bitcoin. So just some friendly advice here. Be very careful with how you're trading Solana to the upside for the moment. We have shifted gears. You can see we're under the 50 and the 20-day SMA. That's usually the trend setter. So being above this here is going to be important. So until we're comfortably back up above the 240 range as a rough estimate, that's what I'm going to be looking for, okay? And again, we got some previous closures here we can see. So again, this 240 level here, being above that is going to be super important. All right, so take a look at some SMAs and all that, RSIs and all that. We can see down below that we're getting close to a tentative bottom again. This is not a consolation by any stretch. I'm not trying to convince you that taking a long right now is appropriate. But generally speaking, when you get close to 30 in the RSI, the price action will tend to bounce and recover, which we've already seen. So I think that ship has sailed, but either way you look at it, Stochastic's trying to swing up now, bottoming out. MACD's trying to converge, but hasn't yet. There's a lot of reasons why it's like kind of just you're reaching if you're trying to take a long right now, just based on the simple fact that the bottom may not be in, but we're getting close pending Bitcoin doesn't continue to run to the downside, right? Again, there's always that caveat, and it's so stupid. I have to sound like a broken record every single video. But the truth is right now, Bitcoin's calling the shots. What we want to identify in the next 24 hours is coins that are outperforming Bitcoin, coins that are responding well to Bitcoin's price action. In other words, if Bitcoin goes sideways, which coins are increasing and not selling off, right? So that's what we're going to be trying to identify to be able to find some good opportunities. Between now and then, on the hourly time frame, we can recognize that there isn't a single indication here that you want to take a long. Okay, at least unless of course you like to flush money down the toilet, or you like to take high risk trades and brag online as to how awesome you are. That doesn't do anything for anyone, really. So again, just some friendly advice. No use taking a long right now. If you're going to err on the side of anything, a short may be a decent consideration. But it would be more appropriate to short at resistance, which tentatively is 236 here, and again the 243 range. So basically the 236 to 243 is that kind of that little range here of resistance for the most part, or for the moment rather. So again, I don't recommend really taking a trade with Solana for the moment, but if you're going to err on the side of caution, shorting would find more success than taking a long. But again, shorting at this level is generally kind of risky, all right? So it just depends on what your risk tolerance is and where you're at with the overall, in the overall sense there. All right, that's what we got there. Again, if you're part of our community, make sure you read through my my signals guide. I got trade alerts here, kind of giving indications of coins that I'm planning to take trades with. Some of them kind of like, they've both varied a lot, if you will. It's still important to recognize that, it's there for you. Just make sure you use it. All right. I guess that's the easy way to go. Okay. Anyways, I'm trailing off here. I hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Thanks again so much for your time. Take care.